What's going on, family? It's your girl Samantha Lee here. And y'all, I apologize, you guys. It's just been goodness. I mean, just technology issues, y'all. There's something about technology issues that just completely throws you. But we gonna keep rocking with the show anyway. So here I am, and here you are. And so I'm so excited. I don't know who was here with me last night. Again, I don't know if all of you guys were here or some of you guys were here, but I'm just so excited to see everybody today because we're talking about something that I think is very important. I want to make sure that I upload my internet don't really doesn't want to be great. So we just gonna have to go through it the other way. Ooh, that's gonna frustrate me, but I'm gonna leave it to the side. I'm gonna put it to the side. So you guys, today I said I just actually, hey Brianna, what's up, Jason? What's going on, Haley, Marvin, Adrian, Tavares, Candido. I'm just so excited to see everybody here. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. We had last night we had a really good conversation. If you guys missed it, with the whole face expert SD. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie. If you watched that episode, your girl learned a lot. The girl learned a lot, and I'm going to implement what I've learned. Okay. I'm not one of those people that if you call me out on something, I'm not gonna like take note of it. I am, because I feel like it's very important. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and search for the video. I didn't want to do it this way, but I'm gonna do it this way anyway, because reality is my thing, things just want a thing right now, and that's what's really irritating me. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull up the video that we're talking about today, because I think it's a very interesting video. It's a really interesting clip. Um, but I wanted to talk about that. So whole phase expert, we talked about some things, and he kind of put me on game about what I need to do as a woman. Y'all, I've y'all know I've dated. People think I've only been in one relationship my entire life, and that's absolutely false. I have not. I've been in some relationships, and I've learned a lot. I mean, I'm a relationship type of person, and so like I said, I've learned a lot in this season of singleness and dating and relationships. And it is completely different after divorce. So you have to see that episode to know. There was two things I didn't say on that episode, which I will say today. So I want you guys to be able to see that. And Jason said, dude was better than I thought he was going to be. Yeah, he's great. I think the name does throw people off, but he really did. He had some things he had to say, and we've had conversations before, and I told him I would go on his channel and we'll have more conversations, because I have a perspective as a woman. You guys know I come on here and I try to be very transparent with y'all, and honest about where I'm at, where I'm growing, where I'm trying to go, and what my perspective is as a woman on the other side. Like, I can only advise women. I can tell men what I feel in and what I believe. Like today I did a video, what are my two biggest deal breakers, right? All I can speak to is my experience about what deal breakers I have for me. And I think a lot of times we have a lot of people out here in this market, especially, that ain't living their raps. Let's just say that, ain't living their raps. They saying one thing, they live in a whole different way. And I've really tried to live unapologetically. So some of y'all came on and was coming hard like, Sam, you really think that? You really do this? You really do that? Well, I'm going to come on here and be real. I'm going to come on here and tell y'all the truth. I ain't going to come on here and make it seem like I do something that I don't. Because at the end of the day, like, integrity is everything. And I hold myself not only accountable, I don't hold myself accountable only to you guys, but I hold myself accountable to God. And I ultimately want to come on here and walk with integrity and not be telling you something that I'm not, because y'all, eventually you could see through a lie. Let's be real. You can see through a lie. And so, yes, the Lord knows what I want. I told you guys that a long time ago. I've gotten to a place in my life and in my dating journey where I'm like, God, you take the wheel. I thought I've known what I wanted. I've made lists. But I think that God is probably going to do a better job at this. So I'm really trusting and surrendering to God. And I'm also, not going to be shy about what I learned. Like I said, what I learned yesterday was, not being, Like, oh, there's certain things I learned. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. But what I said I was gonna do, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Charles D asked me, Sam, infidelity is not a deal breaker for you. No, it's not. Infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. It used to be like before I was married, I definitely had that deal breaker. But now on the other side of marriage, infidelity is not a deal breaker. I know that's like surprising for people to say that. To me, I think if a person makes a mistake, that's one thing. But I also talked about in the video that if it's a pattern of behavior that you know hurts me, that you don't stop even though it hurts, that's different to me. So that's how I look at it. I truly look at it in that fashion, that form and fashion. Um, so I think that if you make a mistake, I can forgive a mistake, but I can't forgive a pattern of behavior that is destructive and disparaging and diminishing me. And it hurt me, but you ain't stopping that behavior. You're not even trying to stop that behavior. That to me is where I have to, draw the line. Charles, I believe cheating can stop. I believe that cheating is a behavior that you can stop. I've been honest that I have cheated in my past when I was younger, and so I'll say that I had, like I said, but say, sorry, y'all. I'm multitasking here, but I believe that cheating can stop. I am somebody that I had to do the work. I had to really like do a lot of self work, and I found that cheating for me was due to insecurity that I had. So that's really what that was. And when I addressed the insecurity, when I addressed the actual problem, that's when I stopped like feeling like I needed to, make sure that I wasn't, I don't know, how do I say? In my past when I cheated, it wasn't like I wasn't like physically cheating on people where I was like having physical relationships with other people. I had emotional relationships with other people. And a lot of those times where I did that was because I just was afraid of putting all my eggs in one basket. I felt like if I put all my eggs in one basket, that person could hurt me. And because of my fear of being left, my fear of abandonment, I I would make sure that I was never in a position where that was the only person I was dealing with and they disappoint me. So I always like had somebody that I would communicate with that, you know, that I would be like, okay, well, if this person doesn't work out, I've got I got somebody else, that's ready and willing, And so I guess that was more my insecurity. But at the end of the day, like I had to do a lot of work and just understanding, like I love the fact that now I can walk away from relationships knowing 100% that I gave it my all. Like that does something for my spirit to know, like, okay, you know what? I came into it, I gave it my everything, and I can walk away knowing that I did my best. When you don't give your best and when you don't do those things, you do walk away with a sense of regret because you look back and you're like, you know what? If I could have done things different or better, and now I walk away from the relationship saying, hey, maybe maybe if I didn't talk to somebody else, maybe if I didn't do this, now I got all these what ifs because my side of the street wasn't clean. And so I found it very powerful for me when I like made that shift and I was 100% with people that like I could be like, you know what, my side of the street is clean. I can walk away in peace knowing that I gave it my all. That's where I kind of that shift happened for me, and it made a lot of necessary endings a lot easier because I just was more at peace with it. I knew exactly what it was. So I had to make a mental shift. But I had to deal with the skeletons in my closet, right? And those skeletons came from childhood, and I had to deal with those things, and they were not pretty. It wasn't fun to deal with those things and sit in a hot seat and really deal with like, okay, yeah, people think you this and you that, but you're broken. You're broken, and you need to really really take some time to heal. And so, yes, the Bible does give you the right to divorce for adultery. Again, you guys, I'm just saying my perspective. Now, Charles, if you want to leave somebody because they cheated on you, absolutely. I'm not going to list it as a deal breaker for me because I'm not in that position right now. I'm not married. I can't say what I will or won't do. But what I'll say is that I feel like if I'm with somebody and they make a mistake, um and they come to me and they're honest and they're saying I'm going to rectify the situation, I'm not going to throw out my family over somebody like that's just not something I'm going to do. Now if it's a pattern of behavior and I keep catching you doing the same thing and you know how it affects me, now we having a different conversation. I will also say to people that are on here, because this is something that I've actually I've talked to women about. If you catch somebody cheating and that is something that you don't desire, but you would rather stay in the relationship than leave the relationship. Stop. Like I hate it when let's say you with a perpetual cheater. Let's say you with a perpetual cheater, right? And this is a person that steps out on you constantly, whether it's a woman or a man. Men are not really the ones that gonna stay with a woman like that if she keeps cheating on them. I haven't really met that before. Women are the ones that will kind of stay with a guy for cheating more so than not. But it's like every time you catch this man doing something that's fishy or funny, you bring it up. You go all in. You like, I'm done. Forget you. Take the keys. I'm out. I'm gonna pack up my bag. I can't do this. Bop, 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 bop. You go through the whole shebang. We do the whole leaving situation, y'all. And then what happens is you stay. We go through this whole I don't like you, you don't like me, I hate you, you blah blah blah, slam the door, I'm out, out. And then 3 days later, a week later, y'all back together. You in the same house. Y'all doing whatever y'all doing. It's like, why did you do all that? At that point, you are teaching people how to treat you. Because regardless of the rigmarole, you stayed. Regardless of the rigmarole, you decided to keep your little cookies right there. So to me, I say to women, if you're not ready to stand on what you saying, if you're not ready to marry your word, keep it. If you ain't ready to really walk out, if you are not in that position, oh, that's so sweet. I'm gonna put this on the screen. That's so sweet. But I'm gonna finish my thought and I'm gonna say what Sam Isaac said. So again, that's my whole thing. Don't do forget you. I'm done. Forget you. You we out. Don't call me. Don't text me. You block. Blah blah blah. 1 week later, like in SpongeBob, and you're behind right back in that house. Just save it. Just don't even bring it up at all. You know what I'm saying? Just say, you know what? The relationship is what it is. It means more to me to stay in this relationship than not. Just say that. Do not do the whole rigmarole if you are not really about, I don't care about how you feel in that moment. If you know deep down in your stomach you ain't going nowhere, don't bring it up, because you're about to teach this man how to treat you, and you causing disruption and all this stuff when you gonna end up being in that house anyway. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Don't say nothing at all. Okay. Let me go back. Sam Isaac says this. Not gonna lie, if Samantha cheated on me, I would apologize to her and become better, because if Samantha cheated on me, I wasn't meeting her needs. Now, Sam Isaac, I appreciate you saying that, and that's so sweet. But no, you know what? It's when I was cheating, Sam. When I was cheating, or when I cheated on someone in my past, in my 20s, and I had that, the emotional relationships I had with other people on the side. I would say this to you. It wasn't a reflection of the person I was with. It was a reflection of a deficit I had. It wasn't what that person wasn't doing. I will not blame somebody else for my actions. I think that's weak. I really do. I think it's weak when you don't take accountability for your actions. That's some weak stuff. And so for me, if I cheated on someone, that's on me. That's a character flaw I have. And so I have to do the work. I've got to figure that out. Not blame somebody else. Because my ego can't handle the responsibility of my actions. So don't apologize to me. Make me feel it. Make me feel the weight of your loss. Because I deserve to feel that. You know? I don't care what I'm talking about. I don't care what kind of and thank you again for the super chats, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that support me when I do this show. Y'all, I have to take a moment for that because you guys, it does take a lot to come on here and going from one show to two shows. And now I'm releasing long form content 3 times a week. I just want to say thank you guys for those who support me. Like, it is a lot. And I appreciate like the support that I get from YouTube. I love my YouTube family. And so I just want to thank you guys. And the more that I'm able to do, or the more that I'm able to get, I can spend more time making more content. And so super chat dance time. Yes, super chat dance time is super chat. Dance time is super chat. Dance time is super chat. Dance time. Okay. So thank you, Sam. I appreciate you. And thank you for sewing into me. I appreciate you as well. But yeah, so I have to, again, that's the whole point, is that it's challenging when, you know, I think that people, they take on the responsibility of somebody else's actions. And when you take on the responsibility of somebody else's actions, you rob them for the opportunity of growing. Like for me, it's like, nah, you gonna sit in that seat. I'm not gonna make it easy on you. I'm not gonna sit here. You wanna blame me? Say it's my fault. Say I left you outside in the cold with a broken heart. Say I don't know. Say I don't have a clue. Chrisette Michelle, y'all. Chrisette Michelle. But anyway, with that being said, the reality is make people sit in their seat. Like I don't care what you tell people. You're going to sit in the seat of accountability because you and I both know what this was. You and I both, you know, so that's just what that is. Now, guys, I'm telling you now, we're not going to be doing any type of situation tonight. Let me just say that if there's anything that I feel like is somewhat on the disrespectful side, somewhat on the whatever side, I'm out. Like you're out of here, baby. Block and rebuke. That's just what it is. Okay. I'm definitely not about that life today. Okay. So if there's any type of anything, we out of here. Gone with the wind, bullseye. Okay. So that's just what I want to say. Now you can compliment me, but I will block and rebuke. I will. So anyway, guys, I know that we just went off topic and everything like that. And we talked about accountability and things like that. But, you know, I think it's just very important because I think that, you know, tonight we're talking about myths and we're talking about different things like that. Hate will be shown the gate. Come on, Brandon. We're talking about rumors. We're talking about myths. We're talking about myth busting tonight. That's what we're talking about. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this clip because I think this is where it all kind of started. I posted this clip last week. I thought it was a really interesting clip from a young woman on Instagram, and I really loved what she was saying. So obviously, you guys, that's how I come up with my clips. If it resonates with me on some type of level, I'm gonna post it because I like sharing content that I think is relevant and we can have good discussions about as a community. So anyway, this is the one clip that I did, and it did very, very well. We talked about Sigma males, about, you know, Sigma men and things like that. And I think she was referring to all men, but I brought up Sigma because that's the community that be supporting me the most. And so I'm going to play this clip for you guys because I want you guys to see it. And we're going to have a discussion about it because I want to talk about what she's saying. Okay. And today is going to be a day where we're going to bust some myths. Okay. And today is going to be busting myths about men. And I want you guys in the chat to think about the some things that people say about men that just ain't true. Okay. I want y'all to think about that because we're myth busting today. In my community now, y'all, is about 40% women and 60% men. And so if women are watching my content, just like vice versa, we're going to have this conversation again. When men are watching this content, when women are watching this content, we want people to learn something. I want you to get something from this. I don't want someone to come out of this content and be like, oh, I still don't, I'm the same as I was when I came in. Nah, no, learn something. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is and what it ain't. Okay. Yeah, no, Isaiah, I didn't say critique. Critique is one thing. When you come in, let's be very clear, Isaiah. You've been on here before. I'm talking about when you coming on here to troll. That's not critiquing. That's doing things to be annoying. I can take a critique. In fact, I take critiques all the time. But I'm not going to take trolls. Trolling you gotta go. Okay? Listen, it just is what it is. All right. So Isaiah always got something to say anyway. Let me just say that. Why you always do that to me, Isaiah? Why you do that? I don't understand that. We good. We be good money, and then you say something, and I'd be like, where are we at? I thought we had something special. Here I go. Here I go. All right, y'all. So this is the clip. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get into it. Do you guys see me on here with it? I hope you do. Okay, so we got it going. Okay. So I'm about to do this. Okay. Here we go. Yes. All right.
Keep seeing women comment on my post saying, yes, this is exactly why I'm single. Men don't know how to communicate at a high level. And that's just crazy to me. And it's also very disrespectful to God to think that he put something like a man on this earth and didn't give him the capacity to communicate at a high level. Are you serious? No. The problem is we as women aren't honest with ourselves enough to admit that we don't communicate at a high level, because if we did, we would stop dating men that we know are no good for us, that mean us no well, that do not really care about us, that have sex with us and then go do whatever they want, and then we end up heartbroken. That's not us communicating at a high level. We don't select great men but then we expect them to communicate at a high level. No. You're single because you need to be single and you need to work on yourself and you need to figure out what more you can bring to the table other than your beauty in your box, because men are capable of communicating at a high level. 100%. The ones you date just don't like you. Woo! I keep seeing women comment on my post saying, yes, this is exactly why I'm single.
Play it again.
Men don't know how to communicate at a high level. And that's just crazy to me. And it's also very disrespectful to God to think that he put something like a man on this earth and didn't give him the capacity to communicate at a high level. Are you serious? No. The problem is we as women aren't honest with ourselves enough to admit that we don't communicate at a high level, because if we did, we would stop dating men that we know are no good for us, that mean us no well, that do not really care about us, that have sex with us and then go do whatever they want, and then we end up heartbroken. That's not us communicating at a high level. We don't select great men but then we expect them to communicate at a high level. No. You're single because you need to be single and you need to work on yourself and you need to figure out what more you can bring to the table other than your beauty in your box. Woo! Because men are capable of communicating at a high level. 100%. The ones you date just don't like you.
Woo! Oh, okay, y'all. So let me turn that up. Okay, y'all. So, okay, y'all. Rod, I agree. Sorry, you guys. You know that I be all over the place. That's why these lives are interesting. She said some stuff here. She said some very, very interesting stuff here, and we want to talk. Well, I want to hit on all of that. I want us to be able to dissect everything that she is saying. She fired shots. She did. Again, guys, before I get into what I'm about to say, go ahead and hit the like button. That's absolutely free. please support the show. I love you guys, and I would love, like, when I'm supported, it just means a lot to me. So if you have other questions, if you have other thoughts, again, please go ahead and hit that super chat, support your girl. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So my thought process is, in this situation, we have to start here. When I posted this thing on Instagram, y'all, when I posted this clip on Instagram, I got a lot of flack. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I got a lot of flack. And more women are coming to my page and they be saying, "Oh, Sam, you look a mess. Oh, Sam." I'm like, okay, you gonna have to come. Yeah, at this point, insulting my looks is not. That's not gonna do it. You're not gonna really rile me up. There's a lot of things you could say. Yes, I'm a divorcee. Yes, I'm a single mom. Yes, okay. All right, come at me, whatever. I've gone through the rigmarole of what people have to say about me. So we good. We understand. But when women are coming at me, it bothers me in this situation because the reality of what she's saying is this. The reality of what she's saying is this. She's saying that, okay, women are saying that they're having an experience with a man. They're having one experience with one man. And then they're saying and generalizing to an entire population of men that men cannot communicate on a high level. That's what they're saying. And she's basically saying, hold on. No, let's look at your choices. The men that you are choosing, which I don't understand why that was so hard for the women. Now, there was women that really understood. They grasped it. They're like, facts. Boom, sis is on point. She's speaking. There was women with some wisdom that were in the comments too. So I'm not going to say all women were just this, because y'all, there's a rising group of women that have a lot of sense. So let's not do that. But there were women that were coming, and Rod, point, period, Rod. But anyway, long story short, there was a group of women, and more than I wanted to see, y'all, more than I wanted to see, whether a group of women that were saying, well, what does she mean? I mean, there aren't men that can communicate. That's my biggest issue with men. Oh, you just riding along. You just a pygmisha and blah 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 blah. Okay, okay, all right. Oh, thank you, Jason Jones. Thank you, Jason Jones. Thank you, Jason Jones. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jason Jones. Let's do a dance for Jason Jones. Let's do it. Dance for Jason Jones. Let's do it. Dance for Jason Jones. Go, Jason. Yeah, yeah. Go, Jason. Go, Jason. Yeah, yeah. Go, Jason. Okay, so anyway. Thank you. Oh, well, Sam Isaac gonna come here with the super chat. Come on, Sam Isaac with the super chat. Love it, love it, love it. Before I get into my thought, of course, I'm praying one day God bless me with a woman of God like Samantha, a woman who's a great wife and great mom. I'm always gonna learn something from Samantha. Well, thank you. Come on, Sam Isaac. Why are you doing Sam like that today? Thank you. Shucks. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, I need to get a sound effect. You're right, Tribal. I do need that. I definitely need that. But my whole point here is this, guys, and I'm gonna sit up for this. They got mad at me. They started saying the pick me thing. Okay, whatever. You come at me with the pick me thing. Here's the thing, y'all. I had a guy that reached out to me. He has a big podcast. His name, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna name drop. That's just not something. But he has a huge podcast in this game, right? A lot of people know him. He's very well known. And he called me up and he's like, "Why do you think the way that you do?" He's like, "And they can't call you a pick me because you don't have any issues getting picked." He's like, "I know looking at you, you don't have no issues getting picked, so you can't be getting. It's not a pick me to get picked." And I thought that was really interesting. I was like, you know what? That's not a bad point. My point here is this, you guys. Right is right and wrong is wrong. To generalize to an entire population of people and saying that all men can't do certain things because your experience with men have not been that. You're going to say all men can't communicate on a high level because you've had one experience with a man, and you're saying, oh, or three bad experiences with the men that you've decided to choose, and we're going to say that all of these guys are all these ways. And I think that that's just problematic. I think it's problematic for men to do it. I think it's problematic for women to do it. I'm not going to be one or the other. When men come at women and say all women are this way, this, that, and the third, there's certain podcasts that bring up a certain demographic of women and use that as their example for the hypothesis to reinforce their confirmation bias as to what they believe women are, want, and what they stand for and how they think. They just pull from the same population and then say, oh, all women are like that. That's wrong. But then you have another group, whereas women who reference a certain type of man and say all men are this way, and that's not fair either. That's not fair to say everybody's a certain way because I've had one experience. I've had one experience with somebody, and I'm going to say, oh, everybody's like that. Everybody's a cheater. Everybody's a liar. Everybody ain't right. Everybody is this. That's not fair. You can't generalize. That's unfair to an entire population of people. George Reed writes, and again, dance for the super chat. Dance for the super chat. Hey, dance for the super chat. Go Sam, dance for the super chat. Come on, dance for the super chat. For the super chat. Okay, so anyway, you have to look at yourself perspective of a situation objectively. Exactly, George. I can't say that because of my experience on one live, every live is that way. I can't say my experience with one man is that every man's that way. And so for me, I think that when people look to anecdotal references where, if you guys are unaware what an anecdotal is, it's like I have an experience. And so now I'm generalizing. It makes me feel like, again, to her point, as a young woman, yes, she's saying it and she's saying it with passion. I respect passion, y'all. Y'all know I'm a passionate woman. I love other passionate women that are representing, and they're representing things in line with my thought and vision. But she's saying that, listen, women, you can't say that all men are this way because you're choosing certain men that reinforce that thought about men. You can't say that, oh, all men are like, because again, the problem really comes down to the fact that we don't heal. Or we are so familiar with a toxic spirit because, guys, a lot of times we decide to we get into a relationship with somebody, we leave that relationship, and then we become attracted to someone who has the same spirit, different body. And because we have not really understood what it is within us that resonates with that level of toxicity, we continue to find partners that are very similar and say to ourselves, well, everybody must be like this because everybody I'm dating is like this, without actually taking into account, no, it's not about the fact that everybody that's out here is like this. Why is it that every dude you entertain, you can't communicate with on a high level? That's a better question. That's a better question. Why is it that the dudes that you're dating, if you want communication on a high level, why are you entertaining dudes that can't provide you that? I'll wait. Because here's the thing, you guys, I've had my issues with men, right? I'm not going to say I picked well every single time. I picked good men. I'm not saying any of them were bad. I've had good relationships with men. But some of them have ended badly. Some of them haven't ended that badly at all. Either way, I can't say that any guy that I've ever been with, I can say honestly, and I've been in, a couple relationships in my life. Each man could have, well, not each one. That's not true. Most of the guys I have dated on a serious level have all been able to date on a high level, or been able to communicate on a high level. Most of them. I ain't gonna say all of them, because there was a time where I wasn't that deep and I was more superficial. And so therefore, I wasn't attracted to a deeper level thinking person because I wasn't a deeper level thinking person. When I became that, I started attracting and being attracted to that. So therefore, when I started having these types of conversations and growing in certain areas, guess what I started? Guess all the guys I started being serious with and entertaining. I started entertaining men I could talk to on a deep level. I wanted to talk about the things, philosophies, and ideologies. I want to talk about controversial theories. I want to talk about different things I was seeing online and psychological theory and rhetoric and this, that, and that. I wanted to start dissecting certain things on deeper levels because that's how I started thinking. And so I posted a piece of content not too long ago where a woman's like, it's not about you are not who you attract. You are who you entertain. We can attract a bunch of different people. Y'all, if you look at the people that come at me, it's a wide variety of men. Some you're like, I don't see how they saw you with what they got going on. And then there's others where you're like, you know what? That makes sense. There's a wide net of people that will be attracted to you. That doesn't mean that's who you are. It's the men that I sit there and I'm like, you know what? Let me see what's up with that. Then that's who I am, because that's what I'm entertaining. The guys I actually engage with and decide to be with on a higher level, that's what is a reflection of who I am, because there's a part of me that resonates with that type of person. So I get upset when I hear generalities of men and masculinity with just anecdotal evidence. And we push these theories as if they're like facts, that every guy you meet is going to be this way. And there are guys that talk about men in generalities, that say all men are this way, all men are that way, all men want this, all men want that. Well, that's not true. There are men that don't want what other men want. There are men that don't care about what other men care about. That's just what people are different. We're raised different. We come from different places. We may be of different religions. We may be of different ideologies. There's a lot of things that vary amongst people. So when we start talking on a blanket statement, all men don't do this or all men don't do that, you're wrong. You're wrong. Just like I would say that there's a lot of men generalize women. Well, because you look like that, you must be this. Because you think like that, you must be this. Because you wear something like that, you must be this. Men are also doing the same thing. And I think that us doing it to each other is extremely damaging. It's damaging. And Kishan, don't look at my nails, okay? I got to get my nails done. She only had an appointment on Tuesday, okay? Don't do me like that. Kishan over here talking about my nails. Sir, I'm making real points. You talking about my broken nail. I need you to focus on the meat of the message, sir, not my broken nail. It's going to get fixed. I got my appointment on Tuesday, okay? Thank you. Be blessed, my child. Be blessed, beloved. Okay? I know it's broken. All right? But your girl still got to work. I'm still gonna come on live. I'm still gonna do what Sam do. Somebody wrote the other day, I post content and I do it after I work out and my hair's messy, or I work out and I ain't got no makeup on. I'm just doing a video, or I wake, whatever. I do videos in all different forms of Sam and various different parts of the day, whether I'm completely made up or I'm like just waking up out of bed. Regardless, I don't have any shame in my game. I don't want nobody to think that like you always look a certain way. I don't always look done up. I don't always look the best. There's days where I don't. And I show every aspect of it. You can go on my social media, you'll see me because I think too much we try to put on this show that we always got our hair done and we always got our nails done. We always got this, we always got that. Yeah, I might have just cooked. I might have just cooked. And you know, I got a stain on my shirt. I'm still gonna post the video. You know, I'm like, if the reality is we do too much. We do too much. And that's just what I think. So anyway, long story short, that's besides the point. I That was the first point that she made that I thought was that I had a lot of pushback for women, like, oh, she's immature, she talking like a young girl, she don't know what she's talking about, blah 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 blah. No, she's not talking like a young girl. She's not talking like a young girl. She is talking like a grown woman who has an informed opinion and is not speaking out of pain or anger. She's a grown woman speaking out of, hey, not everybody's like that. Not everybody, not because I've had all these bad experiences, I'm going to speak from a place of pain and say every man is like this or every woman's like this. So that's the one thing she said. She also brought up another point that I thought would be very valid in the situation. She talked about women just focusing on bringing their beauty and their box. And y'all know that that is a hot button topic. I'm glad women, let me see women in the chat. Can I see if there's some women in the chat? I want to see some ones in the chat if you're a woman. I want to see some women in the chat, some women's. Because this channel is going to grow, y'all. This channel is going to have millions to it. There's going to be a time where it's going to be, 1.6K, and it's going to be another time where it's 16K, whatever. There's always going to be, there's going to be growth, and I don't care where we are now or where we're starting at, we going to get there. You feel me? So anyway, I want to see if there's women in the chat. Is there any ones in the chat? I want to see some ones in the chat if you're a woman. I see Meg R saying she a woman. Is there any other women in the chat? I see a couple women in the chat. No, it's going to happen, y'all. I believe it. I believe it with all my being. So, well, maybe there's only 2 women in the chat. I don't know. But either way, we got women in here. And so this is my point to them. My point to women is this. We have to, as a society, start keeping women accountable. There's some videos I've seen of young women that I just feel like, y'all, I just saw something. I'm not the one that's going to be like name dropping to try to like, not name drop in the sense of like someone I know, but name dropping in the sense of attention. I saw a young woman, I'm not going to name her name, on an interview, and it just disturbed my spirit because I'm like, this girl's so daggone broken. And I can tell she's hurting. I can tell she's, doing different things in her life. Like I could see it. I could see it. And we all in the in the industry, there's a lot of people that are in the industry, and it's very easy to get lost here. It's very easy to get lost in this place and lose sight of purpose and lose sight of integrity. And when you're trying to do something and you're trying to go in the right direction, and that's not getting the same amount of attention as when you're going in the wrong direction, you decide to go in that direction. And that's what I see a lot with our women in today's society. I see a lot of young women that think that their beauty and their box is the way to go because that's what's being reinforced. That's what's getting attention. And it hurts me because I'm raising a daughter in this society. I don't want to teach her that that's the way to get attention, that that's the way to get um, a man, a quality man. Just because you may be seeing that woman be taken out by that guy, or you might even see him entertaining that woman. But you're not necessarily paying attention to the fact that it's sexual, it's sexually motivated. It's not because of how she thinks, it's not because of um, anything on a deeper level. It's this is what she is. And when I see that men have a certain opinion, to her point, where they don't have deeper level conversations with a woman, that might be a reflection of you as women. That might be a reflection of you. If a man feel like he can't have a deeper conversation with you because maybe he don't trust you, maybe you haven't shown yourself to be capable of certain levels of conversation. I actually have a male friend that told me that he can't have certain conversations with women because one, he said that they're boring. One guy said it's because the women are boring. The second, I've also had a conversation with guys where they're like, women don't want to go deep these days. Women want the superficial. They want to talk about superficial things like trips and like dumb stuff that really don't matter. They're saying when he tries to go deep and have those deeper level conversations, they push back. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about zodiac signs and are we a match and where do you live and are you going on vacation and like just superficial stuff or what they just saw in the shade room. They not really talking about nothing. It's like, so if that's the case, if I'm hearing that from a man, it means that certain women are saying they want something that they are not. And that is part of what we discussed yesterday with the whole phase expert. Whole phase expert said, listen, women want what they're not. Mr. Let Go, despite him being as controversial as he can be sometimes with the way he says things, is the same thing. Who are you? And look at that for your like what you're entertaining, what you're actually dating. And that some of us are vying for men or waiting on men, and we're not really necessarily looking in the mirror and saying and really taking into account who we are. We want creme de la creme, but are we creme de la creme? And unfortunately, not all of us can be creme de la creme. Now, you know, I still have the thought process of like, how can a man, how do we know as a man, like, or as a woman or as a man? I think men have a better understanding of their actual level, right? But I always ask the question, like, how is a woman supposed to know? And, you know, Hope A's expert or SD said, you know, I mean, do you know when, you know, are you saying that people don't know when they overweight? You know, saying people don't know when this, that, and the third. And I'm not gonna get into all that. I guess I understand his point though. We all do kind of know what we look like. We can take an assessment of where we are versus other people, and we can do that all day. I think that today's society kind of makes it hard because now if you don't like somebody, if you don't accept someone, they're offended and it becomes trying to this cancel culture where you don't like this, so that means you must be against that. It's like, no, I'm not against that. I just don't like that. That's just not my preference. But if it's not your preference, then there's something wrong with you. It makes it very hard to have honest conversations with people and tell them what's really going on when you can't be honest with them. You can't be honest with them. And if you can't be honest with women, how far are you really going to go? That's the problem. Oh, it's Gil. What's up, Gil? No chill with the bag. Y'all, okay, first off, Gil, stay on, okay? I just saw your last show. Congratulations. Y'all went to like 15, 16,000 on them. So congratulations, y'all. If you guys don't watch No Chill, or No Chill, Gil's Arena, it is extremely entertaining. I actually love basketball talk. I don't know if I can go toe to toe with anybody on there. But I told him, have me on the show, y'all. I was like, have me on the show. I want to go on the show. I just want to be there. I just want to sit there and watch. I might go on. Just have me bring the drinks out or something. But yeah, shout out to Gil. Thank you. Oh yeah, and I got to do my go ahead, my dance for my was it the super chat dance? Y'all saw a little jig there, but yeah. So let me get back into my bag because I'm gonna forget my whole point. I don't want to forget that point. Then I'll maybe go back to a dance. But my point in this is that if you can't be honest with women, if you feel like you can't be honest with them, how are they actually supposed to know what their value is? And because of today's society and the hypersensitivity of it, we can't be honest with people. Open invite so I can come? Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Well, y'all done for the season. But when y'all get back, put me on a flight. I'll be there. Be there, be square. Yeah, I think they would love. Does anybody watch Gil's Arena? Because I really do think I'd be great on the show. But let me go ahead. Let me put me on the couch. I listen, I will be, I feel like I'll be a great addition to the cast, although I will not speak any type of thing. I could be like I could be like one of them girls that, like I said, just I'll be like a therapist on the show or something. So anyway, long story short, yeah. So I all I'm saying, you guys, is that at the end of the day, if we can't be honest with each other, how can we really grow as a society? That goes down to a whole nother thing. So when this young lady's talking about, hey, these guys, a men can't communicate on a high level, this, that, and the third, maybe he just don't like you. I'll tell you this, I think she might have there's a point there, ladies. Any women that's listening to me now, there's a point to that. If a man feel like he can't have certain level conversations with you, maybe he just don't like you. Maybe he don't. I have met men that have told me they don't like certain. Oh, sorry, my bad, Sam Isaac. My bad, Sam Isaac. My bad. Hold on. What's your thoughts on silent treatment? Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, I'm gonna keep this up. Sam. I'm gonna answer this question. Okay. But anyway, my whole point in this, because y'all, these super chats are throwing me off. If a man can't have a deep conversation with you, that might 100% mean that he don't feel like you're capable of that, or he don't like you enough to invest in you in that way. That might be what that means. I think that a lot of times, he not deep. He just don't have that. No, he may just not like you like that. Maybe he's just saying it's not worth the investment. Maybe that's what he's actually saying. And if a man is saying that and he's not trying to go deep with you, that might mean, you might have to really evaluate what kind of relationship he wants with you. Maybe he just wants something that look good. And nowadays, beauty in box is all that we coming out here. That's all we talk about. Talk about somebody box. Somebody talking about, oh, I got I got this, I got that. They do all this with in between their legs. Like, hey, what's up, men? I got this, rapping about it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, all you guys are advertising is box. All you guys are advertising is the way you look. How is a man supposed to look at you and think deeper than how you look if that's what you're advertising? I've said this before and I'll say it again. What you lead with can, may, and will be used against you. If I lead with money as a man, I have to be prepared that somebody might abuse that. As a woman, if I lead with my appeal and my attractiveness, that might get abused too. What does that mean, Sam? That means that if I am saying to other people, if I'm leading with how I look all the time, I have to understand something. That's replaceable. You know how many beautiful women are in the world? You know how many bad women are out here? Y'all, there's several in every city in the United States. Yes, in some zip codes, there's more than others. So to rely upon that is a very insecure variable. And there's going to be a time where our looks go up and down, which is why I advocate for young women. Have way more than your box and your beauty to come in with. Y'all know that about me. Y'all know that about me. Well, actually, that's in the world, not of it. Although you're judgmental, you're actually wrong too. So bye hater. You don't even have no facts. You coming on here judging. You out here judging, and you don't even have real facts. Fake news. Next. Ooh, y'all, let me. Ooh, gosh, I might need to get me a drink of water or something. He's talking about. Anyway, long story short, moving along. It's leak God. It's a lie, and it's like it's so lame. It's besides the point. Whole point is moving along. What's your thoughts on silent treatment? Does it show bad communication? Is it a punishment that people use to make their partner suffer for what they did? Have you used silent treatment before? Silent treatment, in my opinion, okay, so have I used silent treatment before? Yes. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do use silent treatment. That's probably not the most effective way to communicate. I ain't gonna lie to you about that either. I have been one to go silent, go dark, things like that. There's times where I will say that it's because I'm trying to regain my thoughts. I'm not trying to say anything that I'll regret, so I go dark or I go silent. And there are times where I'm going silent, and maybe it's maybe for some people I've gone silent because I'm in a relationship. If I'm in a relationship and I'm not going to respond to you, I put my cheating. I don't emotionally invest in other people if I'm in a relationship. So I go dark. So if you're somebody I was talking to when I was single and you hit me up when I'm in a relationship, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna go dark. And so that's that. But silent treatment is not an effective way to communicate. And that's very true. I should not do that. I have done that. And it's really, when someone does that, it's just showing a level of not being able to communicate effectively, or they have pride, they got ego. It's a lot of different things mixed in. And some people use it as punishment. Some people use it as a means of regaining control. Some people use it as a means of trying to regain their thoughts and getting their mind in order before they speak. Some people use it to I don't know, for manipulative purposes. I don't know. There's a lot of people that they use it for different reasons. Like I actually had a friend of mine that would, she was in a relationship and they would block each other every time. They would block, 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 block. They every time they were in an argument, block, 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 block. And because the block would, the blocking would occur, I always looked at it like, why are you doing, like, who does this? Like, who's gonna, why are people doing this? Um, but it'd be like every time I got into an argument, somebody blocking the other person, then they call from the other number, then they get back on the same page and they unblock again, then they block, they get upset with each other, then they unblock, they start communicating again. And to me, that's toxic, y'all. That's toxic. Those are control moves. Those are power moves. That's me saying that I don't feel like I'm in control of the situation, so I'm going to utilize what I can to regain control. And that's not fair. When you try to control, the only way you're able to maneuver your control is by using the block button. Block is when you're like, I'm done, that's it. But I've known a way too many people that have used the block button in order to, you know, regain control of a situation as a manipulative tactic to win an argument. So that's just me. So it's not an effective way to communicate, and people use it for a variety of reasons. Any reason that they use it for is not a positive one. I think the most positive reason would be to regain their thoughts and composure before they respond, so they respond more thoughtfully than reactively. That's the only way that I could see it being a constructive way of handling being silent. Otherwise than that, I think it is a destructive way to communicate, and it shouldn't be done, and I shouldn't do it. Or I've definitely gone dark on people. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. So would you say people playing hard to get till it's too late? I think it's true. I think that people do sometimes play too hard to get until a place where, it is too late, where someone's like, you know what, I'm not going to keep doing this. I totally get that. You have the right to decide how you're going to utilize your time. I tell you guys all the time, your time is an essential resource. It's a vital resource. It's the most expensive resource you have. Bump money. Think about time. And when you're using your time or you're not utilizing your time in an effective way or in a meaningful way, you are essentially wasting it. Don't waste time. So, anyway, that's besides the point. So, anyway, guys, when we were talking about that, what are some other myths? I want to hear in the chat, what are some other myths that women have? And it's really just a sign a guy's not into you. So, what has become a myth to women, and it's actually a sign that a guy is not that into you? Okay, so come on, guys, let me hear you in the chat. I want to know, what are some myths that women have generalized to an entire population of men, but it's really just indicative of the fact he's just not that into you, sis? I can't wait to see what y'all come up with. Oh. I'm waiting, y'all. I'm waiting. Okay. New comments. All men cheat. So, do you think that men cheating is indicative of a man that is just not that into you? All black men cheat? Do you, but again, leak God, back to my whole point. Do you think that's actually indication that a man's not that into you though? Like I think sometimes men can cheat on women they love, right? Another myth is he's ignoring me because he's playing hard to get. Uh, I can see that. I can see that. That Kitchen says so. The first one that we heard was all men cheat. Second one was he only sees you in privately, never in public. Mm. Uh, I usually tell them I don't want anything serious. Is that a lie? Does that mean if the right one comes along, you'll consider something serious? But until that time, you say that? Myth, he's ignoring me because he's playing hard to get. Mm, okay. He must be gay. He don't like, nah, he just don't like you like that. Well, that I've actually heard that. And that's a very interesting one that women use. I've heard women say about men that they must not like women if they don't like that particular woman. And that's that's wrong. I have a lot of words to say, but that's wrong. Um, Hustle Bunny says, "Man cheats when they're not getting something." I don't think that that's true. I think people sometimes cheat for their own needs. You don't think that? I think that sometimes it's you don't. I personally don't think that every time a man steps out, it's because of something that is a reflection of something that he's not getting at home. I think sometimes it's just hard to say no. I think sometimes, like, well, listen, I got to put this side of me away. And this, that wants to conquer something new for this relationship, and I slip up. I don't know if that's necessarily saying that they're not getting something, because I think that, I, in our society, it's reinforced for men to have a my rate of women. Um, so that's how I look at it anyway. I think it's based on interest. Men keep quiet. All men cheat. That's not true. Just most men do. He doesn't show you enough love. I got hit with the I must be, yeah. I hate the whole he must be gay line because I'm seeing a lot of guys saying that. I don't like it when someone tries to shame your sexuality because you're not interested in them. That is so insulting. And I want to really encourage women, like shaming men into compliance or shaming men because they don't like you or shaming men on any level in order to get them to do what you want them to do is not an effective way of doing anything. All it does is increase the tension between you and that person and makes them feel less safe with you when you decide to shame them because of who they are and what they think. That doesn't make anybody want you more. That doesn't, if you're trying to shame somebody because they don't want you, that don't make them want you. Like that's an ineffective way of accomplishing that goal. And that's just how I look at that. If a man has nothing to say if he keeps quiet on a given topic, okay. So you're saying that some men are just quiet because they don't want to say nothing or they don't want to disturb the peace. They're not being quiet because they don't have nothing to say. They might have too much to say and just don't want to. They don't want to disrupt the house. They don't want. They don't want the. They don't want the problems that may come with it. What doesn't saying good morning and night text? What does that mean, Anja? What's the thing with that? And for me, I'm not ignoring you to play physical games so you can notice me. Nope, that's not it. I'm just not that interested. Okay. Sexual weakness of the flesh, that's no discipline. Sometimes men cheat because they can and are greedy when it comes to women. I speak from experience. Hey, baby, you look good without makeup. Thank you. Right. They would not want you. Okay. Women say, okay, ego hurt. That's right. I'm just here listening. I've been shamed my whole life, SMH. If a man ain't calling back, but just texting back. So, Brianna, is that a question, or is that like is that, what is that indicative of? I just think some men don't want to get on the phone like that. I think some men don't like getting on the phone. They don't like, they just don't, they're just not phone people. I mean, I know that if for me, I have to be in a certain mood to talk on the phone because I talk so much in my day-to-day life that if I'm in a mood to talk or something interesting to talk, I'll talk. But okay, guys. So a young lady has a question. She's asking if there's a man that isn't calling back, but he texting back. Why do you think that a man is doing that? He ain't calling her back. He just texting back. Why is that so? Why is that so? Some men are saying, "Oh, I like texting more." I hate talking. That's it. I'd rather talk in person. He busy. She is a plan B. I don't know if she's a plan B. I think a lot of men, I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of men like texting more than talking. I don't know. I know that I personally like texting more than talking. Unless I have to, or unless I'm in, like I said, I'm in that mood. But I don't think that that's that. That's where females go wrong. They be assuming, well, that's why we doing this show now. We hate hearing a woman talk. Well, that's terrible. Okay, so since we got a couple answers for you, here's what I'm getting. Either A, he don't really like talking on the phone like that. That's just not his thing. He rather talk in person. He rather, text while you guys are not there. So maybe that's what the situation is. But maybe he just doesn't like talking on the phone like that. He'd rather text. Second thing could be that maybe you aren't the main girl he talking to or he's interested in talking to. Third one was that maybe he's just busy. And because he's busy and he doesn't have time to just sit on the phone like that, he's texting. But I think that, or somebody also said her attitude on the phone may not be the best. But I just think that it could be a variety of things. I wouldn't go to that one and think that there's something wrong or you're doing something wrong or he's just not that into you. Not off of that, because I think I don't think a lot of guys. I'm not one who's gonna sit on the phone with somebody all day. Like, that's not me either. So I don't think that it could definitely be something super innocent. I wouldn't think too much about that. That one's not that. So guys, we discussed a lot of myths. We discussed a lot of different things. And so I'm going to answer a question because there were questions that were submitted on Instagram this week. So I'm going to answer a couple questions to finish out our last 15 minutes. So this is question time, y'all. Ooh, Sam like to answer questions. Ooh, Sam like to answer questions. Okay. So, and Kate On says that maybe you should ask him and see what he says. Okay. No, this is a while ago. Hold on. I was like, those are old questions. Oh goodness. I went too far. Okay, so here we go. All right, so somebody asked me what's my favorite scripture that I stand on every day. My favorite, there's a couple scriptures that is my favorite, but I definitely listen, Isaiah 40:31, Psalms 23 is something that I love listening to. Psalms 91, those are popular scriptures. There's times, First Corinthians, I think it's 13, where it talks about that right now is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. So fix your eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary, what is unseen is eternal. I also really resonate where, all things for the work for the good of those who love the Lord are called according to his purpose. That's something that I keep in mind. I think that God wastes nothing. God wastes nothing. And so when I've understood that, like a lot of the things that I've experienced in life, and I'm not going to get emotional, but it's like I know that everything that's ever happened, whether I understood it or I didn't in the moment, that all things have worked together for my good, all things. I've stood on the scripture as well, that where it talks about handling conflict, that the Lord says to not, it's Romans 12. It talks about not seeking revenge and leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, "It is mine to avenge, I will repay." Instead, when your enemy's hungry, feed them. When they are thirsty, give them something to drink. In doing this, you heap burning coals on their head. You do not you do not conquer evil doing evil. You conquer evil by doing good. And that's something that I hold on to. That even though there's things that have happened to me, that I could look at as being evil, and hurtful, and a lot of different things, I'm not going to. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to leave it to Him. I can't say that I have faith and not walk in it when the time calls for it. Um, we could say a lot of things if, oh, we got faith, I got faith, I trust God, I trust God. But when it actually calls you to walk in faith and to really trust what you say you trust, that's different. And we pray for things. We pray for things all the time, peace and faith and breakthroughs, but we are tested at every level. We are tested at every level. And when we are tested at every level, we have to understand that God is doing something greater and bigger. And so you can't pray for peace and not expect some storm to come, because God is not teaching us how to have peace in special circumstances. He's trying to teach us how to have peace in the midst of a storm. Especially when we look at Jesus, our best example in the Bible, when he was on the boat, he was in the midst of a storm. Oh, come on, lead God. No weapon formed shall prosper. That's one of my favorites right there. I forgot about that one. That one I have on a t-shirt. It says, in these days, no weapon form will prosper. Every voice raised to accuse you will be silenced. These are the benefits enjoyed by the servants of the Lord. Their vindication comes from me. I, the Lord, have spoken. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. But again, you guys, we pray for things, and we cannot expect that God is not going to test us. It's a part of seeing whether or not he can trust us with what he's giving us. And I want to make sure that as I pray and as I try my best to like surrender to this process called life, into everything that's being thrown, I want to be, it's hard sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, but really walk through it in a way that he could be proud of. And that may not be what everybody thinks I should do in any given moment, but I have enough faith that I know that if I walk in it the way, or walk it out the way he wants me to walk it out, there's going to be a lot more gratification from that than me going my own way. And so that's another thing that I think about. Um mm. Somebody said this. It says, what when you hear about others speak on you, what would be your best approach? And my best approach, the one thing I can tell you guys, there's two things that I would tell you. First thing I would tell you is, somebody told me this, and it stayed on me for a very long time. Let your character outlive their lie. So people can lie on you and they can lie on you over and over again. Um, but instead of defending yourself with words, continue to walk in integrity, and let your character speak for you. I say that about like Shakari Richardson. I've seen that a lot with her, where she decided to not speak a lot prior to going to the Olympics, or to the World Championships right now. And she said, like, I'm going to let my actions speak, and her actions did speak. And I look at it the same way. We're all running away. We're all running a race, and we're all being determined on how well we run that race, and not by the people that are watching me right now on this live. I'm being watched by the God who's running the race. And so I think that when you make decisions, and when I make decisions, I think about running my race well and letting my character outlive any lie that's told about me. Because I think that my character speaks volumes. If you have conversations with me, my loved ones, no matter what they hear, they know me. So there's no question as to what's happening. And if my loved ones know the truth, and my God knows the truth, and it's just other people that don't, because they don't know me. They see a picture of me and feel like, oh, she looks like that, she must be this way, or she talks like that, or she's doing this, whatever they can come to with judgments about me. And I get it, that's schemas, that's how our brain and our mind thinks. But I look at it from the perspective of, like, my loved ones know the truth, my God knows the truth. What does it matter what other people think about me? And then in addition to that, like, knowing that my character will outlive any lie. My character will. And people's character tell on themselves. And so that's that. Another piece of advice I've gotten in the past was, um, there are giraffes and there are turtles. And giraffes have certain level vision, turtles have certain level vision. Giraffes have certain unique problems that are unique to giraffes because of what they see and their perspectives and how they live their life. And then there's turtles who have their perspective by what they see and what they experience and their own unique issues because they're turtles. And you don't see giraffes trying to explain to turtles their issues, or or trying to get them to understand their perspective. And you don't see turtles trying to explain to giraffes their perspective, because giraffes have certain level vision and turtles have others. And so I think that sometimes we spend a lot of time, if you're in the chat or whatever, whichever animal you prefer, but we spend a lot of time trying to convince somebody with not the same vision and not the same walk and not in your shoes, of why you do what you do and why you did what you did, and trying to explain something to them that they will never understand because they're not in your shoes. And I get to that place. It's like you're trying to over explain, and you're getting frustrated because they don't understand you. But do they have the same vision? Are you trying to get somebody to understand that just will never understand? And so you have to identify that in your life. So that's something that um, I've learned before. All right. So another question is, are boundaries made to keep people in or keep them out? I think um, boundaries are made in order for us to maintain our sanity, y'all, and to maintain our peace of mind. I think that a lot of times we look at boundaries like, oh, you're keeping people in, or keeping. I think boundaries is just about how self-preservation. I can't love other people well if I don't love me well. And if I don't love me well, and if I don't take care of me, I can't pour from an empty cup. And so I'm going to make sure that I pay attention to what I allow in, because there's people that are dependent upon me. And that's not about keeping people in or keeping people out. It's about self-preservation. It's about self-love. It's about self-respect. It's about saying, I can't tolerate certain behaviors. I can't tolerate certain things in my inner circle or in my space, because I have a purpose. I have a legacy. I have people dependent upon me. And if I was going to allow those things in, I would be compromising what I am giving to other people and what I'm most importantly giving to myself. And so when I think about that, I think a lot of people kind of get in their feelings about, oh, boundaries, why this, why that. No, boundaries are absolutely necessary. And when someone doesn't have good boundaries, I already know when I start talking with people, therapy, counseling, coaching, if you don't have good boundaries, I know you don't love you well. I know that you don't value you enough. I know that you don't have enough esteem in who you are when you allow people to decide how they're going to treat you, what they're going to say about you. When you just let people kind of step all over you, we have to get back down to what, like, what's the why? Why do you allow that? And a lot of times people think that it's, oh, they're so nice, they're so kind. No, but those are people pleasers. Those are people that have been bred probably by childhood that if you do this, you get love. Like, your love is connected to what you do. Your love is connected, or your value is connected to your productivity. Your value is connected to how much money you make. Your value is connected to by how many people follow you or see you. Your value is connected to X, Y, and Z. And so when people that like seek their value from certain things, their boundaries are the weakest in those areas. So if my value is tied to how much money that I make, that means that I'm going to have weaker boundaries in how much work I take on. I might become a workaholic because I want to be financially stable. I want my kids to be well taken care of. I never want to be without. I know what that's like. I lived a certain lifestyle, so therefore I'm doing it. I know where your boundaries are weak. That's a reflection of where you seek value. And when I had to start shifting that and understanding that about myself, I had to start reprioritizing and deciding within me internally where I was going to get my value from. Where does my value come from? And I had to say to myself, no, my value has to come from God, because all this other stuff is unstable. And y'all, it's a challenge because we live in a world where that's not the truth. Your value does not come from, your inherent relationship with God. It comes from what you do, what you look like, what you wear, who your family is. Can I Google you? Do you have a check mark by your name on social media? Blah, 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 blah. Those things. So again, I know I can tell, and you can do an assessment. Wherever your boundaries are weakest in is an area you seek value in. So that's that. I'll answer one more question. Somebody asked me this, and I think it's really interesting. What are some of the most common causes that make a woman fall out of love? What are some common causes that make a woman fall out of love? I think when women start losing respect for a man, I think that causes. It's interesting because men prefer respect over love, and women uh, tend to prefer love over respect. It's how we were created. But a woman needs to be able to respect a man to love him and to love him well. And so when a woman starts losing respect and trust for the man that she's with, that will cause her to stop being so in love with him, because it's very, very hard for a woman to be in love with and have the affinity for a man she don't respect. And so I think that when you have a man that you feel like you're playing a role to, or maybe a mother role, or it's a man that's disrespectful towards you or talks crazy to you, and you start feeling like, I'm not safe with him. I have to put up these safeguards and these walls because he, he may not put his hands on me, but he beats me up verbally. And I got to put these walls up to protect myself. I stop respecting him. I start respecting him because I don't feel safe with him. And women tend to be security seeking. And so when they don't feel safe with the man that they're supposed to feel safe with, they start losing that respect for him. They start losing that affinity for him. And so I think that that's like one of the biggest areas is where a woman, like if a man, they can't, let's say a man is not a man of his word. Let's say you can't trust him to follow through with anything that he's going to say. He might say one thing on Monday. He's going to say another thing on Tuesday, another thing on Wednesday. And you can't trust his word. You can't trust what he's saying to you. That can make a woman lose respect for you. I mean, it can make anybody lose respect for someone. When that person, that's even with a man. If a woman is saying, oh, we gonna meet up on this date, but she keeps standing you up, you stop losing respect for her because she ain't respecting you. Vice versa is true. So I think that when those are some areas where where a woman can't trust a man or doesn't feel safe with a man or is losing respect for a man. Those are areas where a woman starts like, if I feel like I can't be safe around you, if I feel like I maybe I emotionally get beat up or I get physically beat up or I get whatever that is, I can't open myself up to, I don't feel safe with you. That's an area where a woman can definitely fall out of love. Where it's like, I can't love you because if I keep loving you, I can't love you and stay in this relationship. I can't be in love with you and give you that same level of access. I can stay in this relationship because of whatever benefit it gives me, but I can't be in love with you and you do what you do. Because if you do what you do and I'm in love with you, it hurts more. In our minds and our brains are wired for us to protect ourselves. Like if you've ever been through things in childhood, trauma, things like that, you block out things. There's things you block out. Your brain is smart enough to say, if this thought or memory exists, this person will not be able to function on a day-to-day basis. So I have to block these things out and put it to the back of this person's mind in order for them to be able to function in day-to-day life. That's why a lot of people don't remember like childhood traumas. They may have a dream in their adulthood and they're like, wait, that happened to me? And they talk to their parents and they like, yeah, that happened. Or they talk to a family member, they're like, ooh. Just certain traumatic experience will resurface when you feel safe and you're like, wait, I didn't even know that happened to me. I didn't know this was, and that's because our brain protects itself. That's what it does in order for you to function at your highest capacity. And so again, I think that, we have to, a lot of times in me saying that, a woman may feel and a man may feel like, I can't be in love with you and you treat me this way. So in order for me to stay in this relationship, I've got to take the in love part out because I can't be this vulnerable with someone who is violating something within me. And that can be a lot of things. That could be, I don't know. The women have a lot of different things that, it can be women and men. He cheat on me all the time. He talks to me. He this, that, and third. Whatever that is for them. They'll take the emotions out. That's why a lot of people talk about how when women leave, it's not a quick process. It's a slow process because they leave emotionally for whatever reason, whatever that is, whatever whatever. I can't speak for every woman. I don't know what every woman leaves for. I can't speak for that. But a lot of times it's a slower process. It's a slow burn. But when it's all the way burnt, they out. And that's because over time they have to take their emotions out to be able to stay in a relationship that they feel like is hurting them in some type of way. And I don't think that that's necessarily right. I think that we as women should do a better job of communicating effectively, um, and being more open, in the moment, and really, saying what we're hurt by in a more effective manner. I think that there's a lot of work that can be done in our communication department, and also talking about like childhood. We don't talk enough about how our childhood affects us in our adulthood. Like, you have a traumatic and toxic childhood, you're more likely to choose sabotage good relationships and and gravitate towards toxic on and off relationships because of childhood, and just being accustomed to that type of attachment. So we really there's a lot more to it than we give it, and that's like a whole nother conversation, y'all. We don't even have to get into that. But I want to go ahead and say, you guys, thank you for rocking in with me. I love y'all. I'm gonna jump off for the evening. I love you guys so much. Y'all know I could go on forever, and I love talking to you guys. Great questions. Again, please, please, thank you, Michael. We got to give Michael a super chat. We got to give Gil a super chat. Super chat dance. Super chat dance. Super chat dance. Hey, hey, hey. Super chat dance. I'm gonna get some music, y'all. That's what I'm gonna do next. But again, going into a long weekend with some godly wisdom from Miss Sam. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much for the love and support. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. I will have a video out tomorrow, so you guys go ahead and check that out. It's gonna be good. So anyway, love you guys, love you guys, love you guys. I'm keeping it on YouTube, so you will be able to see the replay on this thing. Y'all have a good night, and I will see you guys soon.